Well, talk about my daughter Aleshia. She's always been a daddy's girl. From day one, she was daddy's girl. Uh, and I lost my daughter at age 12 to drugs. We put her through 3 different drug rehabs. The last one we put her through was in Cincinnati, Ohio. She would come out and back to the streets, back to their drugs.
We had just stayed awake late at nights. I cried many, many nights wondering where she was and what she was doing, and just hoping if she might just give me a phone call and say she was okay. But it didn't happen.
We got a call from her one day, and she said, "Daddy, you're going to let me out of jail today. Will you come and get me?" Well, this time she was 38 years old. And I told her, I said, "No, I won't come and get you."
At the time that my husband was telling Aleshia she couldn't come back home, and it was just breaking my heart because I've been praying for God to send her back to us. But after I prayed really hard night after night, I understood where he was coming from. If we had have let her come back home, she would have just stayed a few days and left again. And that was the way it had been a pattern for over and over.
At one time, my wife wanted to leave me. She said, "You just take Aleshia and you raise her, and I'll take Chris," which was our son, "and I'll raise him." I thought it was going to come to a divorce at one time. It was really tough on the whole family. Every time she'd get in trouble, we would use leverage in the law to try and get her cleaned up. And numerous times we would go find her and then call the law and have them pick her up on warrants they had on her. Usually I'd appeal to some sergeant or captain close to my age that had children and could get them on my side because they could see what I was going through, and they would try and help us all they could. One night we were watching the news, and they had this bust in DeKalb County. It was the SWAT team was there and everything, and they called it the Glenwood standoff. We saw our daughter coming out of one of the rooms when they finally got everything settled down, and we saw our daughter coming out of the room being escorted. You know, there was so many times that when our mother started crying and wanting to know where she was at, if she was all right, it would take a few days, but I would eventually wind up finding out where she was at. Numerous times I'd go in and bring her out and go into places, and numerous times I've had people threaten my life with guns, with knives. I put myself into a lot of dangerous situations, but God always watched over me and out. I remember one night going into the room, there were 17 guys in there, and her and one more girl. And I told them, of course, they went cussing at me and asked me what I was doing there, and I said, "I've come after my daughter, and I'm taking her with me." And they told me I wasn't taking her, and I said, "Well, if you was a father, you'd know what a father's love can do." I said, "There's only 17 of you, and I'm taking my daughter." And they stood back and let me get my daughter and take her out of there. And she was so just out of it, she really didn't know who I was.
Actually, she never had a drug charge. We've never figured that one out. It was always loitering or prostitution, all other things, but she never had a drug charge. She had a lot of speeding tickets and things like that. But when she would be in jail. Her daddy refused to go see her. He would not, and I couldn't understand it. I thought, if he loves her as much as I do, why won't he just go see her? But he had set his grounds with her, and I was still searching for her in a different way, I guess. But I realized that he was right, and maybe I shouldn't have gone to see her, but I just felt like I needed to for myself. But I love her with all my heart and soul, and I thank God every day for Hope Ministries.
We went through our entire savings that we had at the time, from her, like from age 13 to age 18, which we no longer had legal jurisdiction over, but we went through about $52,000 trying to get her through drug rehabs. We actually went to another drug rehab, and they was telling us, you know, for this amount of money, we'll take your daughter in and into treatment and do this and do that. And I asked the person, I said, can you guarantee me that you can cure her? You know, if you give me a guarantee you fix my daughter, I'll come up with $30,000. But without a guarantee, I've done, you know, spent our life savings on. I thank God that He led us to Women of Hope Ministries, because I had given up. I never did stop loving her. I've always loved her. But I came to realize that I couldn't fix her, and that it would take more than me to fix her.
Has such a great personality, and she's so much fun to be with when she is clean. We spent a lot of years trying to find the right place for her, and when we found Hope, it was just God sent. And we've enjoyed being here. When we come up here, we have the best time, and seeing her grow and just keep growing. And God has been so good. She started out with the Bible, and I think we always end up in the middle of the Bible when she comes home, because we're trying to figure out how was that and how was this, you know. And
I was a Sunday school teacher teaching young married couples at the time, and I gave her a lot of my books that I used to teach young married couples, and she was really proud of herself because she could get stuff that some of the other girls didn't have a clue about, and they would come to her and ask her. So she kind of made her look like a hero then. That's the first time she'd ever played the hero part. So right now, she's my hero. I'm so happy to have my little girl back.
We talk on the phone most every day, and she's precious. She's precious, and I can never repay Hope Ministries for what they've done for my daughter and our family. It actually has made our family stronger. It's been wonderful, and she's been here a few years now. I mean, she actually finished the program, but she's still here. She still wants to have that nearness to Hope, and I appreciate it so much. I mean, if she's that happy, she's got God in her heart, and I know that she is going to finish growing up being God's little girl and our little girl.
Pastor David and Miss Connie have done so much for my family. If they ever call me and they need anything, and I can get it to them, or I can do it for them, I cannot say no to those people. They are so wonderful. With all these girls, I don't understand how they do it, but they are so wonderful. Pastor David just blesses my heart. Every time you talk to him, you ask him how he is, he says, I'm blessed. And he truly is.
we pray, and he'll do it in his time. And like I said, with hope, we have come so far. Don and I got to where we can go places and do things and not have to worry about any of our family, because we know they all got God in their hearts.